And for my next trick, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be making on this cold and rainy and miserable day my German grandmother's brownie recipe. I'm not really sure if they are from Germany like she is. You know, she could have meant Better Homes and Gardens or Betty Crocker when she said Germany. But these are without a doubt probably the best brownies you will ever have in this lifetime. I'm not kidding you. Alright, and what we have going on there is that is just some boiling water, because we are going to need to melt some actual chocolate. Now the start to this recipe went off a little rocky, because at first I thought, well, I couldn't find my baker's chocolate, and thought that I would have to run out to the store, which is the last thing I want to do on a cold, rainy, miserable day. So I had to tear the pantry apart and in turn kind of channeled my German grandmother's German temper.
Oh, besonders gut. Wo ist die Schokolade? Oh, ich will etwas Nachtisch.
It's not exactly my best moment when my German temper takes over, but, you know, there is a great German saying for situations such as that. Don't blame the puppy. Yeah, there are the sayings too, but they all involve genocide. Alright, so we have obtained our chocolate, and everything is good. So what you're going to need is you're going to need to put a frying pan on top of that boiling water, or if you are one of those people who are lucky enough to have a double boiler, that will work. Sorry, we aren't gay enough in this house. So you're going to need this to make sure that your chocolate does not burn, because chocolate will burn. So we're going to start off by using 1 stick of butter. That is 1/2 a cup of butter, or that is 4 ounces, 113 grams. And we're going to let that melt. Alright, and once the butter is about halfway done, you're going to want to throw in 2 ounces of completely unsweetened baking chocolate. Okay, and then you're going to want to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. That's 125 milliliters. And then you're going to want to add 1 cup of sugar, or 236 milliliters. And once you have gotten the consistency of mud, you're going to add in 1/4 cup of flour, or 59 milliliters. Okay, now that we have stirred in all of our flour, we are going to wait for this mixture to cool down, because the last thing we got to do is we got to add some egg to it. So while we're waiting for that to cool, let's start preheating our oven. Alright, so let's see. Bake, 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 bake. Alright, now this is going to cook at a very low temperature. That is 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And, what are you? There we go. Or it's going to be 121, 122 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure. So we have that ready. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our brownie pan ready while that cools and the oven heats up. And we're just going to lightly cover all sides with a little bit of butter. And that's good. Okay, and now that it has had ample time to cool, and the oven is probably very close to preheating, we're going to take 2 room temperature eggs. Make sure you don't get any shell in there. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we are going to whisk the eggs. Now the reason you want this to cool down here, and you're going to want to add this very slowly, is one time we tried making this and we did it while that was still hot, and we wound up having scrambled eggs in the middle of the brownie. It was kind of super gross. Alright, we're going to add a little bit. Start stirring it in. And that's the oven, totally 100% preheated and ready. Keep adding this little by little. Yeah, that was so gross that time we made it and it turned to egg. Oh. I actually hate eggs and will not eat eggs for anything except if it's used to like make a cookie or a bread or something like that. I hate scrambled eggs, omelets, everything. Yeah, it's like, who at what point in time saw an egg and said, this just fell out of a chicken's pussy. Let's eat it. I'm sorry, that was probably extraordinarily vulgar. I hope there are no kids watching this. So now that you've probably gotten to this stage with me, you probably are noticing that this looks a lot like a batter now. You were probably very worried at first, wondering how that was going to come about and how that was going to work out. Then we're going to transfer it to our greased pan. Everybody's favorite part. And you want to always do this carefully whenever you are adding batter to a pan, because if you get a single drop on the side, a cake or a brownie will not rise past that point. Well, it can actually, but it can very much likely stop it from doing so. These are very thick, dense, fudgy brownies. You practically almost have to eat them with a spoon. That's my favorite part. Got some whipped cream for them. I'm going to sit here and indulge in American obesity. Hooray! So there we go. Leave myself some batter to eat. And now what we are going to do is we are going to put this into the oven at the 250 degrees or 121 degrees Fahrenheit, or Celsius. And we are going to cook them actually for 50 minutes. 50. Yes, not 15. 50. They're going to cook at a very low temperature for a very long time. And they are going to come out practically like a candy bar. Like everybody, my favorite part of making cakes and brownies is eating the batter from the bowl. Oh, no. It's a prelude of what's to come. Alright, and 50 minutes have passed, and you can see they are fully baked. The light crust on top. So now we gotta wait for these bad boys to cool. Alright, and Dankeschön Oma. This is her German brownie recipe. With a little bit of whipped cream on top on a bed of chocolate sauce. So if you give this a try, I hope you enjoy it. Bye. That's better than sex.